Please join me in welcoming our final team of the day.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. My name is Pierre Ruiz. I'm the Revenue and Capacity Management Director of Europcar Group. Firstly, I would like to tell you that I'm honored to represent my company here today in such a prestigious competition. And I have also to tell you that I feel blessed to be in Baltimore for the first time, because this is the city where my favorite musician was born in 1940, genius composer. His name was Frank Zappa. And one of his famous quotes was, "Without deviation from the norm, progress is not possible." Those words are a perfect starting point for my speech today. But before elaborating on this, I would like to share with you a message from Caroline Parot, CEO of the Europcar Group.
Dear all, first of all, please accept my apology for not being with you in Baltimore. I am very honored that Opticar, our predictive and optimization system for the revenue and capacity management, has retained the attention of the Edelman Award Committee and the Informs community. Europcar Group is a major player in mobility markets. Its mission is to be an attractive alternative to car ownership by providing a wide range of mobility solutions: car rentals, van and trucks, chauffeur service, car sharing, or peer-to-peer. The group operates through multi-brands, meeting every customer's specific needs. Europcar, the European leader in vehicle rental services; Goldcar, Europe's largest low-cost company; Interrent, value for money brand, targeting leisure customers; and finally Ubico, a European company specializing in fleet and mobility solutions for both the business and the end-to-end customer market. The group delivers its mobility solution worldwide through an extensive network of 130 countries and territories. In the direct-to-brand online business, our gross revenue has doubled in 4 years to reach 500 million euros. This has been achieved in a very competitive market, while improving our fleet utilization for the organic business by 40 bps to reach a total of 76.5% last year, and to improve by 200 basis points in a 5-year period. All what has been achieved is indisputably linked to the progress that we have been done in the revenue and capacity management teams, supported by our advanced analytics in Opticar.
The norm. What usually was the norm of the revenue management activity in a car rental business? It was really treated in a similar way than the hotel or the airline industry, but with a small difference that the hotel room is not changing. A plane has slots and seats, and they are not changing. Cars are moving. We can buy and we can sell cars, and we can put cars everywhere. So let's imagine a hotel in which you could add one floor with 100 additional rooms in the peak period instead of being fully booked, and then make those rooms disappear. Let's assume that a plane could autonomously decide to land in a different city, maybe 2 days after the original arrival time. What about if every 9 months, we see, which is the period we keep the car generally, a hotel had to renovate all the rooms, or an airline company had to sell and purchase an entirely new fleet of planes? This is normal business in the car rental. So, in order to fully optimize our business model, we had to acknowledge that fleet was a variable, and fleet viability and flexibility had to be considered as an opportunity, not a constraint. So we had to welcome this key driver in our optimization model. That was the big news. That's why in 2012, the Europcar Group took the decision to create the Revenue and Capacity Management Department in all our subsidiaries. At this time, we embarked on a project which began in Italy to develop a predictive optimization tool, both fleet capacity and revenue. This is how Opticar was born. Of course, before this, let's say capacity was not considered as a no man's land at Europcar. Both operations and fleet departments were running part of this activity. So behind this project, there is also a huge change management challenge. And this challenge was also multiplied by 9, because we had 9 subsidiaries at that time. This was the number of our subsidiaries. And at this point of time, I have also to specify that our objective has never been to centralize the pricing activity. On the contrary, we have always been convinced that it was essential to maintain this activity as close as possible to the various markets. And these are some key reasons for this. First of all, because the heterogeneity of the European landscape, we know perfectly that the logistic, because of this heterogeneity, is an important component, and that you cannot handle the same way the activity, for example, in Spain as in Germany. And you know, therefore, the legal constraint as well. A legal Spanish policeman is not like a German policeman. I'm sure you know that. So we were convinced that, however, we could respect the specific constraints, but we could meet that challenge to have a common system supported by common processes and ensure that this system was properly used to deliver a very powerful decision support system. Of course, needless to say that such a complex project requires time, skills, experience, and in order to create skills and expertise, it was clear to us that the learning curve required to get the full potential from the tool would have taken quite a long time. And bringing on board all the people involved across the countries were going to be a huge challenge. That's why we created scorecards with standard KPIs, with key performance indicator, giving transparency on how the countries were progressing, and sharing this result with the general managers was really important for their success. And that's also why we created an annual user conference where all the experts from across the business can physically meet and exchange views and their experience and best practices, and decide together about the next features to develop. So it's, let's say, not surprising anyway today that the best-in-class market remains the country where we started, because in such complex tools, of course, the first one that starts can remain the best, but some others, they are running behind them. I propose you to present you some of my colleagues from Europcar Italy.
Europcar is the #1 leader in Europe in terms of mobility, where effectiveness means succeeding in what we do, making our choices, our day-to-day choices, as close as possible to successes for the company.
Opticar every single day. Every morning I turn on the light, Opticar light, and I look at figures. We use it, for example, for the fleet allocation, so for making decision on where to allocate our cars, and for pricing strategies.
Nowadays is the main demand forecasting tool used for all the corporate countries, and is managing more than 2 billion euros of revenues on a yearly basis.
With Opticar, we are able to steer the demand and not going after it. This would be our new challenge, but at the same time also, I would say, our opportunity.
This tool was also shared with the high-level managers, and so no matter their level or their competencies, it was the only language spoken by everybody. And so this was very important for us. We had the possibility to have a faster access to all information, and most of all to a big quantity of information, and in a short time.
changed the culture of the company. So I think that when a tool is able to change the culture, this is the most important prize you can get from a tool. Because a tool does not have a human soul, it's just a machine. But when you see people changing after looking at the tool, then you understand that something nice has just happened.
The last shot was Place Venice in Rome. Now I give the words to Rafael Maccioni, CEO of ACT Operation Research, the company that supported us during all the last years in the development of Optica.
Thank you, Pierre. And thank you to Inform and the EDAMA committee for the great job you do promoting operation research at the global level, permitting us to better do our job as company every day applying advanced analytics. I want to start sharing us a brief story. When I was studying at the Polytechnic of Milan, I was struck by thunder about the concept to have a model as a representation of a complex system and the possibility to use this model to control, to optimize, to understand the behavior of such system. At that time in Italy, when we finished the university, we have to devote few months to the community, choosing between the military service or the social service. I opted for the social service. One of my daily tasks was to deliver meals to about 25 senior people around the city. It was challenging, trust me. I discovered these people is really nice, but could be also really angry if you deliver a cold and sticky pasta. That's so the group of people doing this job and also my performance has a service level around 75%. This means that 25% of the time we were late. So it has been for me the first time to apply operation research in the real life. So during the night, I start to develop my model to improve this service level. Using operation research, I moved the service level from 75 to 95. So based on this passion, we started more than 20 years ago, ACTOR. And ACTOR stands for Analytics, Control Technology, and Operation Research. The name exactly explains what we do for living. We have offices in Italy, in Rome, in UK, London, here in the United States, in Charlotte. We are also spin-off of the university in Rome, La Sapienza. We have 7 professors in our team, and we are a bridge between the theory and the application, an international bridge for applying these experiences. When we met Pierre and Europcar called us, we met Pierre and his team, the main focus was around the forecast. They need a better forecast, they need a more detailed forecast, they need to refresh this forecast with a higher frequency. We understood that Europcar was mature enough for a disruptive solution. So we stimulate the discussion asking, why? Why, Pierre, you need the forecast? Why your team, why your decision maker need this forecast? The team came out with a good answer. The answer we call the 4R answer. We need the forecast to have the right car at the right place for the right customer, sold at the right price. Perfect. This answer also includes a win-win objective where the customer satisfaction and the profitability go on the same way. From this answer, on the left hand, we have some evidences. The forecast was the importance of the capacity that Pierre mentioned. The capacity is a lever to control the business. The forecast is needed, but it's just a piece of the solution. Operation research and advanced analytics are absolutely needed. On the right hand, we were also facing some difficulties. First of all, we have to go deeper into the complexity of such business in a short period or time. Why? We were in the sales phase. So we need to understand the details to propose the correct solution. And we also need to find the courage to propose something different. That was not so easy for a customer in the early stage to be understood. We came with the solution that today is called Opticar. And Opticar, it has been developed and configured with our Bloomy Decision, that is our decision science platform. Now we should have a video.
Short-term actions may boycott the long-term objective. Managers must find a solution between conflicting objectives. This can only be done if they have a complete overview of the business. Opticar, provided by Actor, is a complex decision support system. Opticar features forecasts and other operations research techniques, providing an integrated approach to revenue and capacity management. Opticar provides a shared mathematical approach used as a starting point for all daily operations. Opticar anticipates future demands up to 6 months in advance, improving capacity management. Capacity managers receive from Opticar planned fleet actions for maximizing the revenue. Opticar enables a company to optimize its approach to revenue management and rental pricing. www.act-operationsresearch.com.
Okay, just a short introduction about the technology. Bloomy Decision is the high-performance decision science platform designed for scalability, parallel computing, and big data. In Bloomy, we can combine different types of analytics like predictive analytics, machine learning, optimizers, and simulators. Bloomy has been designed for an easy utilization from the user of the complex analytics behind the technology. The methodology behind Opticar is supported by 4 modules. The first one is the forecast. Then we have a discrete event simulator, the fleet optimizer that helps to allocate the current number of cars in the current place, and the price optimizer. Opticar works during the night and during the day. During the night, first of all, it imports some data from the transactional system of Europcar, then performs some consistency check. It also generates some warning for the user or for the assistance team. Just to give you some number, we upload 1.6 million of rental agreement. Rental agreement is the main input of the system and is a complex data structure. We forecast about 18,000 time series every day, and we calculate about more than 700,000 statistical distribution. During the night, Opticar performs some automatic scenarios, and these scenarios are the starting point for the daily activity of the user. During the day, the user can also run their own scenario, for example, evaluating some of the action and the impact of this action. For example, stopping the sales of a certain type of car in a certain airport, for example. They can re-optimize or re-evaluate the fleet planning. That means to decide how many cars in fleet, how many cars disposed, and how many cars transfer from one point to another. Obviously, the optimizer in this case try also to minimize the number of transfers, and this is also an impact in terms of environment because we reduce trips by trucks. And then there's the price optimization. So during the day, the user can review the strategy, reevaluate the pricing, and this is what they do. Every day we have 300 users logged into the system, and every month we have about 600 user scenarios run it. let me conclude talking about scalability and portability. Let's say that we start with the first country as Per mentioned, and then we include all the other direct offices in the other European countries. But Europcar has more than 100 representatives around the globe. And so we are right now, we are starting to extend Opticar also to this franchises network. We are installing in Switzerland right in these days. So this in terms of scalability, the solution need to support a pretty wide number of users and company. Then we have also Opticar have to be extended in the future to support the concept of the new mobility evolution that Europcar is facing. This means not just to see the car, but vehicles in general. This means introduce the car sharing concept, carpooling, and the future Opticar will also be extended to support the marketing optimization. That means to optimize this level, important level. So in terms of portability, generally speaking, the structure behind Opticar is also applicable to other business, like, for example, cruise line, hotelier, and some other business. I give the word to Enrico that will explain some technical aspect behind the forecast and the simulation aspect.
Thank you, Raffaele. I will now introduce the main logics which supports Opticar methodology. Opticar's backbone is the ability to forecast the demand. The expected demand in the car rental industry cannot be directly forecasted, differently from many other products and commodities predictions. In this business, the element of the forecast is the rental agreement, which is a complex object defined by several attributes, like checkout date, the duration, the probability of returning into a different station, and which station, maybe even a foreign station, the probability to be extended by the customer or to have an upgrade made at the counter, and many other features. Opticar accomplishes the estimation of the future rental agreements and their business impacts by combining the time series forecast and the discrete event simulator. The attributes that define the rental agreements are estimated using statistical distribution calculated on historical figures. Distributions are created taking into account the day of the week and the month. Indeed, even the same customer has a different behavior when booking for leisure or business purposes on the same day of the week. Depending on data availability and the evolution of the business, some distributions are based on the last year data, while others are only on the most recent transactions. Today, Opticar is one of the few tools that can consider in the predictive process all these important business aspects at the same time. The time series forecast is computed by our multi-paradigm predictive algorithm platform, called B4. Unlike other forecasting tools, B4 includes both statistical models and machine learning techniques. B4 automatically tests all its forecasting algorithms on a past historical sample and selects the best performing among them. Forecast is calculated every day for a 24 weeks period. Furthermore, several user-defined variables can be added to the system, and they are taken into consideration during the forecasting process. These variables include bank holidays, special events, and weather conditions, any past and future events that can have an impact on the demand. Opticar runs two different types of scenario. On one side, the demand-driven scenario, used mainly for the fleet planning and other long-term actions. On the other side, there is the fleet-driven scenario, which is used for short-term actions like fleet allocation. In more details, the demand-driven scenario is used for the identification of all the possible actions in order to match the current available fleet with the provided results. For example, in this case, the management can increase the fleet dimensions or trigger stop sales. The majority part of the daily activities of Europcar managers is based on this default simulation. The fleet-driven scenario is used for the allocation of the already planned fleetments and to issue new transfers. In this case, if a customer booked a vehicle not available for that moment, there are just two possibilities. A different vehicle is assigned, or there is a demand loss. Now I give the word to Umberto Delle Piane, who will describe you the optimization engine included in the OptiCar methodology.
Thank you, Enrico. The two optimization tools included in OptiCar's methodology work independently and are outside the automatic processing. Users can interact with the system requiring an optimization only when needed. Of course, for both the system, an input is expected demand produced at the end of the automatic processing, just described by Enrico. The first optimizer regards fleet optimization. This is how the models look like. In interest of time, I will now summarize you the main concepts behind it. The model has been designed taking in consideration the maximization of the profit as objective function, without reducing the current service level. This can be accomplished through optimizing the number of vehicles infleeted, defleeted, and transferred. The derived problems involve three separated but interconnected optimization layers: in-fleet optimization, transfer optimization, and defleet optimization. One of the most important advantages provided by this model is that user may decide to optimize just one of the three optimization layers or combine them as a single optimization problem. In the table below are shown some features that define the size of a problem instance. The resulting problems are large-scale problems. Nonetheless, they are solved within 2 hours. The problem is modeled as a linear programming optimization problem, and it considers simultaneously the fleet definition and its utilization. In order to include in the model all the constraints that influence Europcar business, we work to discover all the elements that could increase the goodness of the linear approximation made. For this reason, many constraints directly derived from the business have been included in the model. For example, the high level of theft in some areas may alter the possibility of moving certain vehicles in it. Moreover, all the changing in the fleet composition may respect sign timing windows related to the vendor's companies. Finally, other clauses included in vendor contracts have been taken into account. For example, Fiat and Mercedes uses different policies in terms of cars. Users can work directly with the web user interface to edit the constraint in a fast and user-friendly way. The model is flexible enough to include future business evolution, like the green energy vehicle market. The algorithm used for solve the derived problem was designed by actors, engineers, and optimization scientists. After several numerical experience, it turns out that the best choice in terms of efficiency was represented by a meta-heuristic procedure based on genetic algorithms. The last OptiCar's component is the DPO, which stands for Dynamic Price Optimization. In this optimization tool, prices are the lever for the management to match the forecasted demand, maximizing the profit. Prices are dynamically updated, taking in consideration the expected demand, the competitors' actions, and many other factors. The DPO model is based on a black box optimization problem, where the black box component returns an estimation of the revenue achievable over the booking period. The algorithm for solving this problem is a probabilistic global optimization meta-heuristic. Conceptually, the DPO system is composed by 2 layers. The first provides an optimal pricing strategy, while the second, currently with this strategy, optimizes the prices in near real time. Automatically, whenever new information is available, the system optimizes the prices. Prices are updated for all the type of vehicles sold in specific zones. Moreover, prices are calculated for all the lengths of rent and the payment methodologies. At every run, about 15 million prices are updated. I give now the word back to Pierre for some conclusion.
I figure out where, during the speech of my colleagues, our business seems to be very simple for a customer point of view and very complex and technical on the other side. So, let's say, as a user, I'm very happy having found, let's say, operations research quality on the other side to be able to raise some demand and obtain some answers. So, really, I think that the difference that I've been able to produce is really on Opticar's methodology that has been able to provide a deep integration of Europcar's daily working activity. That's for sure. The first integration regards the process. As mentioned, the output provided by Opticar every day represents the starting point for all the revenue and capacity managers. You remember Bianca Ita from Italy, she said, every day I open Opticar, I look at Opticar, my scenario of the day, and I begin to take decisions. This is a very important change. And of course, the second integration is cultural, because Opticar outputs became a shared element between managers inside the country, from fleet operation, revenue management, and from different countries. Before Opticar, there were a high heterogeneity among managers and about the way to think, according to me, tomorrow this will be, according to me, the future will be. Now there is a basic starting point to define what the future can be. The third integration provided by Opticar is in technology, of course. This integration has been made during the years by Opticar's and Actor engineers, and nowadays there are several activities aimed to always improve the overall system performances, adapting both hardware and software. And finally, the last integration that Opticar has triggered is in the usage of analytics and operations research techniques. Opticar's methodology features forecasts, discrete event simulations, and optimization techniques, providing an integrated approach to revenue and capacity management. Caroline Parot, my CEO, will now tell you what future is storing for Opticar and Europcar in general.
Customer satisfaction is at the heart of the group's mission and all of its employees, and this commitment fuels the continuous development of new services. From a customer perspective, the future is asking us to merge all mobility usages. From a revenue and capacity management standpoint, this will mean to definitively break the boundaries between the different products and brands of the group. Among the group digital transformation, there is an increasing complexity that we have to address by analytical techniques. Surely, optimization of our fleet and setting the correct price will not become an option. Opticar is one of our strongest assets. It has optimized our traditional car rental model and offers technical solutions that will surely inspire our future's works in the new mobility era. We are proud of our successes obtained so far and are looking now for the future of the mobility business with enthusiasm and confidence. Thank you.
I would like now to share with you some figures related to Opticar's impact in the European corporate countries. I have chosen one KPI by country. So in Italy, which I remember now has been using the tool in its pilot version, we increased between 2012 and 2016 by 4.8 percentage points the fleet utilization rate. In France, the utilization has increased by 2 percentage points between 2014 and 2017. In Portugal, since Opticar has been used, the utilization rate has increased by 1.2% between 2013 and 2017. In UK, $1.9 million on free upgrades has been saved in 2017 versus previous year by using expecting demand information from Opticar. In Germany, we recently used Opticar during Christmas time in Berlin, allowing to take decisions to better yield and improve the revenue per day by 15% compared to last year's. And this is, of course, in the same period of time. And in Spain, the revenue per day has increased by 3.3 percentage points between 2015 and 2017, even in a very competitive low-cost market in Spain. This was also the case in Belgium, where the cost per rental have been decreased thanks to less transfers made possible for a better on-rent forecast accuracy and the fleet optimizer. So let's celebrate all those good news, and let me present you some of the key users of the different Europcar countries.
Prior to Opticar, Europcar had no standardized tool when it came to revenue and capacity management.
We are the Europcar Germany RCM team, and we are using Opticar for forecast, for pricing and for capacity management.
With the Opticar in Portugal, we have moved from a manual work to automatic and trust tool that supports our business and pricing decisions.
The recently released price trend view and the rule-based dynamic price optimization system brings Europcar to the next level.
It's allowed us faster decision-making processes within multiple teams. It has replaced and enhanced our existing reporting tools, which frees up time and to invest in strategic decision-making in order to maximise our revenue and our profit across the network. It really has become our way of life, and we are very happy with what Opticar has brought to us.
Forecast and business planning, we are using Opticar for our forecast and to look at the business on the books.
With Opticar, Europcar RCM department has moved from a manual process to a fully trusted and integrated solution in order to support pricing and business decisions.
In capacity management, Opticar is used in order to get an overview of our resource quality and their allocations within the segment.
Not only do have analysts now directly access to market information, but it also helps them in their decision.
Since we are using Opticar, we have a more granular look at the seasonalities. We are better in steering of the segments, and we all look at the same data.
And we are looking for all the developments what comes in the future.
Yeah!
Okay, finally I wanted to share with you some tangible economic insight into what Opticar has contributed to our business to date. So since the beginning of the project, thanks to a more efficient planning of our fleet needs, our per rental transfer costs has been reduced by 80 euro cents, which means almost $1. This means about $14 million US saving on a yearly basis. As our CEO Caroline said, Opticar has contributed to increase our utilization rate by 2 percentage points, which translates to an $18 million cost efficiency on a yearly basis. And finally, the last 5 years, our rental revenue has increased by almost $584 million in a very competitive market in which the growth of the low-cost competitors has exploded, which has driven down prices and lower revenue per day. And despite this, however, we have been able to nearly flatten our rental car revenue per unit between 2012 and 2017. And that's all. Thanks for your attention.
What's new in Baltimore?
How about that chord the Ray played?